Have you ever felt like someone is trying to reach you, but you don't know who? Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. Listen, this message is not random. It found you on purpose. In the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you why you've been feeling that strange pull in your spirit, why your mind has been restless, and why the silence in your life has been getting louder. And I need you to stay until the end, because later I'm going to share the one sign that proves God is trying to reconnect with you right now, and most people miss it. Before we begin, subscribe, like this video, and comment one word, "Here," because when you type it, you're not just talking to me, you're responding to the call. Now let's go straight to it. There is a man reaching out to you, and no, I'm not talking about a human man. I'm talking about Jesus. And I know that might sound too direct, too intense, too serious. But if you're here, something in you already knows. Because lately, something has been happening. Maybe you've been thinking about God more than usual. Maybe you've been remembering things you used to believe. Maybe you've been questioning your life. Maybe you've been waking up at weird hours. Maybe you've been feeling emotional for no clear reason. Maybe you've been craving peace, but you can't find it anywhere. And the scary part is, you can't explain it. Your mind tries to explain it. Your psychology tries to label it. Your past tries to interpret it. Your ego tries to dismiss it. But your spirit knows. This is not just stress. This is not just boredom. This is not just a phase. This is God reaching out to you. And here's the part that might shock you. God doesn't always reach out through miracles. Sometimes He reaches out through discomfort. He reaches out through the ache you can't describe. The emptiness you feel even when life is fine. The loneliness that shows up even when you're surrounded by people. Because God loves you too much to let you stay asleep. And yes, you've been asleep. Not physically, spiritually. You've been moving through life on autopilot, trying to survive, trying to cope, trying to feel something, trying to fill the hole. And you filled it with people. You filled it with scrolling. You filled it with music. You filled it with distractions. You filled it with work. You filled it with pleasure. You filled it with noise. But the hole stayed, because the hole is shaped like God. And no matter how much you put inside, it will never feel full. That's not an insult. That's not shame. That's not condemnation. That's design. You were designed to be connected to Him. It now because the connection has been weak. Not because God left you, but because you drifted. And don't run from that sentence. Don't get defensive. Don't close the video, because I'm not here to attack you. I'm here to wake you up gently. You drifted because you were hurt. You drifted because you were tired. You drifted because you didn't understand. You drifted because you prayed and nothing happened. You drifted because you trusted someone and it broke you. You drifted because life got heavy. You drifted because you started thinking maybe God doesn't care. And I want to say this clearly. God cares. In fact, the fact that you're watching this right now is evidence. Because out of all the videos you could have clicked, out of all the distractions you could have chosen, you landed here. And if you're honest, something inside you feels calm just hearing these words. Just emotion. That calm is presence. It's Him. Now let's talk psychology for a second. Your brain is always scanning for safety. It's always scanning for meaning. It's always scanning for patterns. When you're disconnected from God, your brain becomes hyperactive. You overthink. You replay conversations. You assume the worst. You imagine outcomes that never happen. You feel anxious for no reason. You feel heavy for no reason. You feel like something is wrong, but you can't name it. Because your mind was never meant to be your God. Your mind is a tool, but when you worship it, it becomes a prison. And the way God reaches you is not always through logic. Sometimes He reaches you through a deep inner knowing, a whisper, a nudge, a strange feeling, a sudden tear, a memory, a hunger for truth. And that is what's happening to you right now. God is reaching out. Why? Why now? Because something is coming. And I don't mean that in a dramatic way. I mean it in a spiritual way. There are moments in life where God calls you back before a turning point, before a major change, before a breakthrough, before a season shift, before a blessing, before a test, before a new chapter. God doesn't just want to give you things. He wants to give you Himself. And the reason you've been feeling restless is because your spirit is being prepared. God is not punishing you. He's positioning you. But here's the cliffhanger I promised earlier. There is one reason this message found you. One reason. And it's bigger than you think. I'll tell you in a few minutes. But first, you need to understand something about Jesus. Jesus is not reaching out to you like a judge. He's reaching out like a rescuer. A lot of people have the wrong picture of God. They imagine God is angry. They imagine God is disappointed. They imagine God is waiting to punish them. They imagine God is keeping score. But the truth is, God is reaching out to you because He misses you. Yes, God misses you. And I know that sounds almost too tender, too emotional, but it's real. God is not a cold force. He is a Father. And when you've been away, He notices, not to shame you, but to bring you home. Because He knows what happens when you try to do life without Him. He knows how heavy your heart gets. He knows how confused your mind becomes. He knows how empty pleasure feels. He knows how fragile people are. He knows how quickly life can turn. And He is reaching out before you break. Now I want you to pause and reflect. Think about your last few weeks. How many times did you feel like you were fine, but deep down, you weren't? Many times did you laugh, but it felt forced? How many times did you sit in your room and feel like you were missing something? How many times did you think, is this really my life? That question is sacred, because it's the beginning of awakening. Most people never ask it. They just keep distracting themselves until they die. But you're not like most people. You are being called. Now let me say something that might make you uncomfortable. The reason you've been feeling disconnected is because something in your life has been replacing God. And you already know what it is. It could be a relationship. It could be a person you can't let go of. It could be validation. It could be your phone. It could be lust. It could be money. It could be pride. It could be bitterness. It could be the need to control everything. And here's how you know it's an idol. If it affects your peace more than God does, it has become your God. And idols always demand more. They never satisfy. They never heal. They never restore. They take. They drain. They consume. But Jesus gives. He restores. He heals. He doesn't just change your behavior. He changes your heart. And that is why He's reaching out, because He wants your heart back. Now I want you to hear this next part slowly. God is not asking you to be perfect. God is asking you to come close. Because closeness changes you. The more you come near to Him, the more you start to feel clean again. The more you start to think clearly. The more you start to see people differently. The more you start to forgive. The more you start to stop craving what hurts you. Not because you forced yourself, but because His presence reshapes your desires. How spiritual transformation works. It's not willpower, it's connection. And this is why your old methods aren't working anymore. You've tried to fix yourself. You've tried to motivate yourself. You've tried to discipline yourself. You've tried to heal yourself. You've tried to reinvent yourself. And for a while, it worked. But now, you're tired. Because self-salvation is exhausting. You were never meant to carry yourself. You were meant to be carried by God. Now, let's go deeper. You know what one of the most painful feelings is? It's not loneliness. It's not rejection. It's not betrayal. It's spiritual numbness. When you can't feel joy, when you can't feel love, when you can't feel peace, when you can't feel purpose, when everything feels dull, when life feels gray, when you wake up and you don't even know why. That numbness is often a defense mechanism. Your brain says, if I don't feel, I won't hurt. But the problem is, you also stop feeling God. And that's where people get stuck. They think God left them. But the truth is, their heart went into survival mode. And Jesus is reaching out to bring you out of survival and into life. Not just existing, not just getting by, Real life. A life where your spirit is alive. A life where you can breathe again. A life where you can love again. A life where you can trust again. A life where you can sleep peacefully again. And I want to say something very important. God is not reaching out because you're too far gone. God is reaching out because you're closer than you think. Some of you watching this, you feel guilty. You feel like you've done too much. You feel like you've sinned too much. You feel like you've ignored God too long. Your life too deeply. But listen, if you were truly too far, you wouldn't even care. The fact that you feel something right now means your spirit is still responsive. That is hope. That is proof. That is God's mercy. Now I want you to imagine something. Imagine Jesus standing in front of you, not angry, not yelling, not pointing fingers, just standing there, looking at you. And his eyes are not full of disgust. They are full of love. The kind of love that sees everything you've done and still wants you. The kind of love that knows your secrets and still calls you. The kind of love that understands your pain and still believes in your future. That is the Jesus reaching out to you. And if you let him, he will rebuild you from the inside out. Now let's talk about what this reaching out looks like. Because God is subtle, but he is consistent. God might reach you through a video like this, a random Bible verse you keep seeing, a memory of your childhood faith, a dream that shakes you, a song that suddenly makes you cry, a conversation that hits too close, a season where your old pleasures stop working, a moment where you realize you can't do it alone. And here's the crazy part. You might have been resisting it because you're scared. You're scared of surrender. You're scared of change. You're scared of letting go of control. You're scared of being disappointed again. You're scared that God will ask you to give up something you love. But the truth is, God doesn't take to hurt you. He takes to heal you. He breaks what is breaking you. Reason life has been trying to crush you is because there is something inside you that threatens darkness. There is something inside you that carries God's presence, but it has been asleep, and now God is waking it up. That is why you feel the pull. That is why you feel the tension. That is why you can't go back to how you used to live, because you've outgrown it. Your spirit is being upgraded. Your soul is being refined. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's holy. If God is reaching out to you, you have a choice. You can ignore him. You can scroll away. You can distract yourself. You can go back to the same cycle. Or you can respond. And responding doesn't mean you suddenly become religious. It doesn't mean you pretend to be perfect. It doesn't mean you fake holiness. Others. Responding means one thing. You turn your heart toward him. Even if you don't have the right words. Even if you feel unworthy. Even if you feel confused. Even if you feel broken. You just say, God, I'm here. That's it. That's the first step. And I want to do something with you right now. I want you to take a deep breath, slowly. And as you breathe, I want you to release the pressure, release the guilt, release the shame, release the fear. Because God is not reaching out to crush you. He's reaching out to lift you. Now I want you to imagine placing your life in his hands, your mind, your heart, your future, your pain, your mistakes, your regrets, your unanswered questions. Place it in his hands and say this in your heart. Jesus, if you're reaching out to me, I want to respond. Now here's what will happen next. This is important. When you respond to God, you will be tested. Not because God wants to hurt you, but because life will try to pull you back. Your old habits will call you. Your old friends will tempt you. Your old cravings will rise. Your old patterns will try to reclaim you, because your old life doesn't want to lose you. But if you stay connected, you will win, because God's power is not weak, and you don't have to fight alone. Now I want to give you something practical, something you can do today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. When this video ends, take 5 minutes, just 5, and sit in silence. No phone, no music, no noise. And say, God, speak to me. Then open the Bible to the book of Psalms. Read one chapter, slowly. not to impress anyone, not to be religious, but to reconnect. And I promise, you will feel something, even if it's small, because God responds to sincerity. Now I want to address one more group of people watching. Some of you are angry at God. You feel like God let you down. You feel like God didn't protect you. You feel like God stayed silent when you were suffering. You feel like God allowed something that broke you, and you've been carrying that anger for years. Let me tell you something. God can handle your anger. He would rather you come to Him angry than stay away pretending you don't care. Bring your real heart. Bring your real pain. God is not fragile. He is Father, and He is reaching out to heal the part of you that still hurts. Now listen, this is the moment. This is the invitation. This is the reaching. And you don't have to understand everything. You don't have to know theology, the answers. You don't have to clean yourself up first. You just have to come. Because Jesus is not waiting for a better version of you. He is reaching for the real you, the tired you, the confused you, the addicted you, the anxious you, the broken you, the numb you, the ashamed you. That's the one He wants. Now I want you to hear this sentence like it's being spoken directly to your soul. God is not done with you. You may feel like you wasted years. You may feel like you ruined your chances. You may feel like you're behind. You may feel like you're too old. You may feel like you're too damaged. But God specializes in restoration. He takes what looks dead and breathes life into it. He takes what looks ruined and rebuilds it. He takes what looks hopeless and turns it into testimony. And yes, your story will become a testimony. Not just to save you, but to rewrite you. Now, if you've made it this far, I want you to do something bold. Comment, "I receive." Not because comments are magic, but because words matter. And when you type it, you're making a decision. You're telling your spirit, "I'm not running anymore." And if you want to go deeper, share this video with one person who needs it. Because someone in your life is also being reached for, and they don't even know it yet. Now let me end with this. You are not here by accident. This message found you because heaven is reaching, because Jesus is reaching, and the hand is extended. The question is not whether God is calling. The question is, will you answer? Take a breath and whisper it. God, I'm here. Amen. And before you scroll away, let me ask you something simple. Back to God, even when you tried to move on. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. That verse is not poetry. That is a warning. And it's also an invitation. Because if you're watching this right now, it means the knock is happening in your life, not on your front door, on your heart. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because the knocking doesn't sound like a loud voice. It sounds like a quiet thought you can't escape. It sounds like, "Come back, talk to me, stop running, let me help you." And listen, the reason this message is so emotional is because you've been trying to be strong for too long. You've been acting like you're okay. You've been carrying weight that wasn't meant for your shoulders. You've been smiling while your spirit was tired. And God is reaching out because He's not impressed by your strength. He's moved by your honesty. To make this extremely practical, because some of you are thinking, okay, what do I do now? Here's what you do. You respond, not with perfection, not with a big speech, not with a religious performance. You respond with one small step. And I want to guide you through it right now. If you're still here, comment this. He's knocking. Yes, comment on it. He's knocking. Because when you type it, you're not just interacting with the video. You're making a spiritual statement. And you'd be shocked how many people need to see they're not alone. Now let me speak to the person who feels unworthy. You keep thinking, I've done too much. I've failed too many times. I said I would change and I didn't. I prayed before and nothing happened. But listen to me closely. God is not reaching out to you because you earned it. He's reaching out because He loves you. And love doesn't wait for you to become clean. Love is what cleans you. Some of you have been stuck in shame for years, and shame is not humility. Shame is a cage. Shame says, hide from God. But conviction says, come to God, right now. This warmth, this clarity, this emotional pressure behind your eyes. That's not shame. That's God calling you back. Now I want to say something that might change your life. The devil doesn't need to destroy you. He just needs to distract you. Because if you stay distracted, you stay disconnected. And if you stay disconnected, you stay weak. That's why the noise has been so loud lately. That's why your phone feels addictive. That's why your attention span feels broken. That's why you can't sit in silence anymore. Because silence is where God speaks, and the enemy knows it. So if you've been feeling like your mind is scattered, if you've been feeling like you can't focus, if you've been feeling like you're constantly overstimulated, comment, "I want peace." Type it right now, "I want peace." Because peace is not a personality trait. Environment, and Jesus is the Prince of Peace. Now listen, I'm about to say something very deep, but very simple. God is not reaching out to you because he needs you. God is reaching out to you because you need him. And some of you have been trying to replace him with people. You've been craving love. You've been craving attention. You've been craving someone to choose you, someone to stay, someone to understand. But the truth is, people are limited. Even good people. They can't fill what only God can fill. And when you demand God-sized love from human beings, you will always end up disappointed. That's why you've been hurt. Not because you're unlovable, but because you are looking in the wrong place. Now, let's get real. Some of you are watching this while still holding on to something God already told you to release. A relationship, a toxic friendship, a habit you keep defending, a lifestyle that keeps draining you, a secret addiction, a pattern of self-sabotage, and you know it. You've been feeling it in your spirit. Every time you do it, you feel heavy. Every time you go back, you feel empty. Every time you repeat the cycle, you feel further from peace. That heaviness is not random. That heaviness is your spirit saying, "This isn't you anymore." So, if that's you, comment, "I'm letting go." Because letting go is not losing. Letting go is obeying, and obedience is not control. Obedience is trust. Now I want to speak to the person who feels like God is distant. You've been saying, "If God is real, why don't I feel him? Why don't I hear him? Why does it feel like nothing is happening?" Listen carefully. God is not distant. Your life has just been loud. Your heart has been crowded. And God will not compete with your distractions. He will wait. Not because he doesn't care, but because love doesn't force. And that's why this moment matters. Because right now, for a few minutes, you stopped. You paused. And the moment you paused, you heard the call. That's why I'm telling you, this is not just a video. This is a moment. Now I want you to do something that feels small, but is powerful. When this video ends, don't instantly scroll. Don't instantly jump to the next distraction. Give God 1 minute, just one, and say, "Jesus, I'm listening." That sentence is a door, and when you open it, he will walk in. Not with anger, not with punishment, with love, with restoration, with peace that doesn't make sense. Now I want to create a chain of faith in these comments. If you believe God is reaching out to you, comment, "I hear you." And if you've been feeling lost, comment, "Lead me." And if you've been struggling with anxiety, comment, "Calm my mind." And if you've been battling loneliness, comment, "Stay with me." Because I want you to see something. You are not alone. There are thousands of people right now feeling the same pull, the same hunger, the same awakening, the same holy discomfort. And that's because God is moving, not just in your life, in this generation. Now let me end with this truth. The fact that God is reaching out to you means you still have purpose. It means you still have a calling. It means you still have time. It means your story isn't finished. And if you've been feeling like giving up, if you've been feeling like disappearing, if you've been feeling like nobody would notice if you were gone, listen, God noticed. Alone. God noticed you when you smiled in public but broke in private. God noticed you when you tried to be strong. God noticed you when you felt forgotten. And that's why he's reaching. Because you matter. Now type this in the comments if you're ready to come back. "I'm coming home." And as you type it, Let it be real. Not emotional, not temporary. Real. Because the hand is still extended, and the knock is still happening. And if you answer, everything changes.